The stories that we tell ourselves are absolutely huge in how we see life and how life seems to unfold beyond our vision of awareness. And recently I've been getting to know intimately what stories that I'm weaving and concocting. Again, you may have mentioned me, you may have seen me mention Joe Hudson in a previous video. I'll put the link to the video. But his content's really been helping me recently. And he has a technique where if you catch the voice in your head saying something mean or something off, something derogatory about yourself, you say, "Ouch, please don't treat me like that," out loud. And that just triggers you to keep, flagging when that voice says something. And I'm catching more and more and more of myself of like, this guy's got nothing to offer. Ouch, please don't treat me like that. Who is this kid? Ouch, don't treat me like that. And so it's more than just words, this voice, for me anyway. It's a perspective. It's like rattling off a perspective. It's like I'm translating my own perspective, or translating a perspective onto life. And it's describing in detail how I see the world. And I just take it as sometimes as like a voice. I just take it as like gospel, It's astounding to me how little I question this thing that's just rattling off stuff that I don't want to hear. I'd never say to anyone else, or I'd never say to a kid. If I'm a kid and I came to me in pain, I just never would say the stuff I say to myself in my head. And it's more than I have said in the past, like, it's more than words. Sometimes there's no words there, and it's almost like I'm just holding myself accountable for something, or holding myself in a prison of some kind, like a self-punishment prison, because I don't know, reasons, I'm sure I could dig up those reasons, but the thing is, for me, it's let them come up on their own. I'd rather swap out the prison for freedom, and let them just come out to be released as they may. But it's interesting, the story it weaves, and it takes on, well, when you watch a film or you read a book, it takes on more than just the words on the page, or the words on the script, or the lines that the actors say. It's more, it becomes a world of its own. And that's why if someone says you're living in your own world, it's because you're writing the script. You're reading yourself the book that you've written. You're a hell of an author, we're amazing authors. But it's like, are we writing the books that we want to read? It's not bad. Yeah. Are we acting out the scripts, that we want published, we want read, acted out, seen, projected? Just like you project a movie, you're projecting into existence your own life, So it's more than just the words we say to ourselves. It's the energy behind them. It's the vitriol sometimes behind them that's damaging, or that's just creating this perspective of lack or inferiority, not enough. And I think the first step, at least for me, is catching that, making the unconscious conscious, Joe Dispenza, as he says, catching that voice weaving the script. You'll catch the script being woven in motion, and you'll notice a line or two, and it's like, I don't want those lines. backspace or Tipex or whatever, or bin, dissolve, whatever you want to do. But the more and more we catch ourselves describing our life to ourselves, the more apparent and stark and jarring it will be of the perspectives we're weaving every day, moment by moment in our lives. And then we can teach ourselves to consciously speak and tell ourselves another story in another way, see what happens. Be the scientists in our own lives, you know? Another Dispenza quote, but there you go. Test it out. See what it does for you personally, you know, personalize it again, you know? And remember, it's not just the words. This is why, you know, I'm wondering more and more now, you know, you can say 1,000 affirmations over and over and nothing changes. Well, it's more than just the words we're saying. It's the narrative that we're expressing alongside or with it, behind it, you know, the energy behind the thoughts, the intention behind the book we're writing, the intention behind the perspective we're weaving. You know, sometimes if I'm catching myself writing a script that's undesired, you know, say, I go, ouch, please don't treat me like that. Then lost my train of thought. Maybe that's a good thing. When I'm teaching myself to describe something that I want, or that like a narrative, that's it, that I can weave. It's like sometimes I want to go straight to I love you or life is joyous, but it's like there's so many rungs up the ladder of emotional scale or whatever, you know, so much up the ladder of harmony that maybe it's just like, well, at least you tried is better than this guy's got nothing to offer. Do you know what I mean? It's one rung up or a couple rungs up, you know. You hear yourself when you're like, well, at least you put yourself out there is much better for you maybe in the moment, for us in the moment, than going, life is joyous, because you're like, yeah, right, and you just don't get anywhere. But it's more like, well, you did okay, is better, is just sort of unraveling the story that was saying, no, you did a terrible job, you know. You just like, well, no, actually, well, I put myself out there, and you know, and sometimes I don't usually do that, and you know, I seem to be changing because I've put myself out there, and you know, in general, I've actually done that in my past, and you know, things have worked out, things haven't. I've learned lessons, you know, but at least I've had a life experience, and so it's like an Abraham Hicks reaching for the better thought. I think it's the better feeling thought. That's, you know, I think a lot of us forget, including myself. It's like that the feeling goes along with it, and it's not just the words that are being yapped. It's the intentional, you know, intentions behind the words. It's the marrying of the two that has an effect, seems to communicate with the field, you know, communicate with life, communicate with ourselves, you know. Who says that ourselves and life are any different, you know? That mind and matter aren't interwoven, you know? So hence the stories we tend to describe in detail seem to be reflected back to us and seem to like confirm. I was like, yeah, I was right all along. It's like, well, of course you were, almost. Of course we are, because look how long we spend and how much we spend describing to ourselves what we then see. So it would be interesting, it's an interesting experiment to go the other way, or when we catch ourselves, you know, enough times, and then start laying like a different kind of story and just move the needle the other way. You don't have to go all to joy in one leap. It's like at least I tried, or you know what, well, I did this right today, or you know, I gave them a compliment, and it's just you know, it shifts the needle a bit. So yeah, um, that's my 2 cents for the day. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.